Sonic and collaborations have been in no short supply since, well, his conception.
Food.
Originally showing up in 1990's Radmobile as a mere ornament prior to his debut in 1991, this almost 36-year-old collab would become a snowball effect, leading to Sonic joining unlikely forces that I see more as a flex of just how big Sonic has become. And while some don't necessarily land as well as others, it's nice to see Sega broaden Sonic's horizon to other games, food franchises, and soap and deodorants to give the average Sonic fan a reminder that normal, healthy hygiene habits are encouraged. And to wash your fucking ass. But one collab that has proven to be more elusive than the rest, one that's had Sonic fans in a chokehold since initial rumors sprung up, is none other than Sonic and Fortnite. Now I'm sure Fortnite needs no introduction as it's most literally one of the biggest games ever, but Fortnite has become the ultimate marketing opportunity for any game, movie, or franchise to show off what they've got coming up. And whether it's a one-to-one collab or a Fortnite original design, Fortnite usually stays quite faithful to its source material and at times gets to truthfully flex their creative muscles when it comes to some of these collabs. Sonic has been a weird case though, arguably having the highest demand to creep his way into the Battle Royale. Sonic has been leaked, confirmed, not confirmed to officially confirmed as of recently. It's a long and convoluted history, but in today's video, I set out a timeline to document every leak, official release, and upcoming collab that Sonic has had related to Fortnite. And while Sonic's history with Fortnite has been relatively brief, you'd be surprised to find out this collab has been very long in the making. Before we start though, if you'd like to support me more outside of YouTube, make sure you use my supporter creator code JustJoe. Thank you so much. Now let's get to the video. Now, while Sonic's appearance has been long anticipated, you'd be surprised to learn that our first quote-unquote leak from Sonic and Fortnite came early in April of 2024. Now, whether or not this is a real leak is still somewhat in the air, but there are more details that somewhat confirm its validity. On April 27, 2024, an image leaked on 4chan, I know, real credible, right? Showing a future roadmap dated for June and July of that year. Now, right around this time, Fortnite heavily picked up on the amount of collabs that they were putting out. Chapter 5 kicked off with Solid Snake and Peter Griffin, and the hype around Peter was unreal. And as the chapter unfolded, Fortnite quickly began to diversify their Gaming Legends series. So naturally, when this picture of a Sonic 1 Sonic sprite as a backbling started floating around, it quickly took off. Tons of speculation about Sonic's introduction to Fortnite begun, seeming to be more in line with 2022's Pac-Man backbling, and while this leak unfortunately did not come to fruition, there is some validity to this. Of course, June would be a naturally good time for this collab to release, as ring ring, Sonic's birthday month, but what helps give this some potential of actually being real at some point was the leak directly to the right of it, which was Pirates of the Caribbean. Slated for release in July of 2024, the Pirates of the Caribbean collab would not only come to be, but would also release in its targeted release date on July 19th of that same year. So while it's unfortunate that this collab might be completely scrapped, it's funny to see that there was potential for this to happen all the way back in such a small capacity to what we have now. Now, let's jump to 2025, over a year since the original leak of Sonic's sprite backbling, and information for Sonic's arrival to Fortnite was 0 to none. While high-profile collaborations flooded Fortnite this year, it felt like the perfect storm for Sonic to finally make his way in. I mean, we had Crossworlds on the way with multiple high-profile collaborations heading there soon after release, and Sonic had just touched base with PUBG with whatever the f they were doing here, so naturally it felt like Sonic was next to cross the horizon over into Fortnite. Thankfully though, the wait would be over shortly as around September 10th of 2025, this image, uploaded by Fortnite leaker Wenzo, would slowly start making its rounds showing what is a texture for the RSO Sonic Puma shoes that released 7 years ago? Anyways, this is our first dabble into what was to come for Sonic and Fortnite. Days would pass, but it wouldn't be long before the lid would be blown completely off this highly anticipated collab. By September 13th, Rocket League dropped their trailer for Season 20 of the game, including many new additions that I'm not going to go into since I know nothing about Rocket League. Anyways, this trailer confirmed a massive Sonic crossover for the game, including decals, goal animations, car parts, and a full Sonic and Porsche collab, which was interesting to see considering that Sonic would later join forces with McLaren. But with the announcement of the Rocket League collab came a full confirmation of a sister collab with Fortnite. And while details weren't specific on what we were getting, this felt like the perfect time to finally get the skins that we had been waiting on, as Crossworlds at this point was under 2 weeks from dropping. So naturally when the news hit that we ain't getting shit but shoes and a Porsche, you bet I had a full-on meltdown. Still copped it though. Yeah, it was definitely very disappointing that this collab turned out to be just shoes, a car, a boost effect, and wheels, but this brought us one step closer for an actual Sonic collab. There were also talks of licensed Sonic songs making it into both games, with Live and Learn being considered for both, but that seemingly vanished out of nowhere. So yes, while definitely disappointing it wasn't more, this was our first official foot in the door for Sonic's jump to Fortnite. Fast forward to this year, where we arguably had the single most explosive leaker make their way onto the scene. While Fortnite leakers usually pop up here and there with the same information, there was one leaker that was completely different, Adira FN. Now Adira practically came out of nowhere and started flooding Twitter with leaks that just seemed too good to be true, throwing out franchise names like Minecraft, Kingdom Hearts, and Game of Thrones for example. But of course, the name that always stands out in leaks like this was none other than Sonic. And this time, we were finally getting what we wanted. On January 20th, Adira FM would tweet out that Sonic and Fortnite skins were finally in development. And while this was relatively early in the span of time these leaks flew out, little did we know how big of a leaker Adira was and how much of a threat they posed for Epic Games. As more names of high-profile collaborators kept flooding out during the lengthy period of time Adira was active, in a matter of just a few short weeks, the leaks came to silence. While the extent of the damage done by Adira wasn't fully realized at this point, when March 5th rolled around, it put into perspective who Adira was, as it was announced that Adira was being sued by Epic Games for leaking insider information way too early. Adira didn't have sources, didn't have leakers feeding them information, but Adira was a producer at Epic Games. Adira was the source, and this was just the beginning. While I won't get into details on every collab that actually released, it's a overwhelming majority with some that we are still seeing released today. But just to give a few, Masters of the Universe, Ben 10, Game of Thrones, Peak, and Solo Leveling. If you couldn't tell, Adira knew their shit and was absolutely an insider. But why do I feel the need to mention this now? Well, let's jump to, well, not quite present day, but still, relatively recently. You see, during the lawsuit with Epic Games, Epic claimed that these leaks sourcing from such a high and relatively trustworthy position at the company led to many collaborators feeling as if their trust was broken, somewhat souring the relations with Epic. While there was heavy speculation that a majority of these collabs were scrapped, in the following weeks it'd come to be that everything was back on track, except for Sonic. As on April 30th of this year, Epic Games added a new pet named Dodger that was free for many players who own the original Dodger pet all the way back from Chapter 1, Season 8. The reason why I bring this up is there is a lot of speculation on whether or not the Sonic collab had been scrapped or was still in the works. But upon inspecting one of Dodger's emotes, one almost identical to how Tails takes flight, it seemed that all hope had been lost for Sonic's inclusion. But for some, this was only a beacon of hope. See, Epic isn't unfamiliar with teasing collabs much further out than their actual release. I mean, the original Reaper dated John Wick by over a year, Peter Griffin, Cleveland, Bob Belcher, and Hank Hill all made very prolific crosses over to Fortnite before the massive Simpsons season. And now this? It felt more and more like Epic were jingling keys in front of us just to get the last laugh. While the reception to this pet edition was mixed in regards to a Sonic collab, there would be a hefty period between then and now before we got our official confirmation. So it's safe to say that we can jump ahead to today. Epic Games just held their State of Unreal conference, which not only included plenty of announcements, an overview of Unreal Engine 6, and of course, news about Fortnite. More specifically, the future of cross-game content. To incentivize sales and purchases through Epic's own store, Epic has now decided to throw in additional content for Fortnite as an included bonus for buying exclusively on the Epic Games Store. Basically, you buy your game here, we'll give you some swag on Fortnite since that's the only reason why the Epic Games Store exists in the first place. The reason why I bring this up though is that at the State of Unreal, these additions were explored in a little more detail, confirming that bonus content will be coming for Vampire Survivors, Control Resonant, Phantom Blade Zero, and of course, arguably the most hyped out of all these titles, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. This marks the first official, hopefully fully fledged Sonic collab with Fortnite. And remember what Adira said, these were skins. No shoes, no cars or car parts, full on skins. After years of speculation, mock-ups, leaks and letdowns, we're finally here. Albeit, this is just a confirmation that a bigger collab exists and is on the way. No details have been shared yet, but it seems as if there's more to this than just Fortnite. In the official Epic Games Store Discord, many were quick to celebrate as finally, it was Sonic's time to come home. But many questioned whether it would once again be cars or actual skins, to where an Epic employee actually responded multiple times, while being relatively vague with each response. But the most interesting Epic employee to acknowledge this collaboration was Epic's own CEO and founder, Tim Sweeney. The only retweet from him following the event mentioning or showing Sonic was from Miss Jawa, stating that it was insane to see Epic's quote-unquote cross-game content idea come to reality, specifically mentioning Sonic coming to Fortnite and Fortnite coming to Sonic Racing. Now, this could mean literally anything, but what it does mean is that Joti is coming to Crossworlds, baby! Okay, while funny, that more than likely isn't happening. If anything though, we might get a group of decals or other quick Fortnite-related additions to Crossworlds. But it's insane that Crossworlds might be the start of many games to feature Fortnite as a collab rather than the other way around. While we haven't gotten any further confirmation of exact details on the collaboration, like who and what will be featured, I'm very happy to say the wait is finally over. After years of demand, we can finally stop being satisfied with crumbs and get the full ass meal. But if it means that I have to rebuy Crossworlds on the Epic Game Store just for a Sonic skin, I think I might wait. But as it stands, there you have it. Sonic's full history with Fortnite. And while consisting of tons and ups and downs, I think it's safe to say that we are finally getting to a point where this collab actually feels real. Anyways, I do plan on giving out the set when it fully drops to someone, so join my Discord below to get in on that. Huge thanks to Wrenchmaster as well for not only providing renders and footage for this video, but also being so genuinely passionate for Sonic's inclusion in Fortnite over the last 4 or so years. Their channel will be in the description below. I highly encourage you to go check their stuff out. If you stuck around to this point, I appreciate you. And if you got the Sonic soap but don't use it, I'm really praying for you. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon.